Hey, man, say, man. Shout out to Memphis, man. We got reports coming out that Gucci Mane been robbed. All right. He been robbed, you know what I'm saying? And the reports is saying that the slimy little dude is responsible. I'ma just be the one to address the elephant in the room. What you put into the world, you get back out. You know what I'm saying? And choosing to sign and promote and be behind somebody that, his thing is that he's a slimy little dude. He's shiesty. You know what I mean? It promoted that all these youngsters walk around face covered up, creating all kind of havoc and this and that. And, you ushered that in by signing this man and, presenting that to the public. And, it was all good. But the same thing that you exposed the world to, you in turn exposed yourself to. Not gonna lie, it looks good for the perception of what the culture glorifies and what everybody celebrates. Gucci Mane, you could have did business differently. And then it goes on to the intent of signing Pooh Shiesty in the first place. It turned out to be a good decision for him as far as having a good artist that was making some noise, even though it didn't turn up as fast. But I say all that to say this. What you do, what you put into the world is what you get back out. It's always a lesson in everything. Now, what you got going on is you got YouTuber Seti Nash. He made a video about it and he was having inside accounts and and he's in the loop or whatever, but there's other platforms that's reporting that, the Rolling 60s are the ones that actually perform the robbery, in which case, Seti Nash being a part of that organization, a part of that hood, him using his major platform and saying, holla at me, I can get it back. That seems like he's opening conversation channels for extortion play. That's how it could be, that's what they do on the internet. They speculate, they create narratives. And, I sit in and day out and see how the narratives are formed. And it's just crazy that now it seems that Seti Nash is intelligent as the brother is. I sit and watch him break down paperwork, criminal stuff from people. And, it just makes me wonder, he should know better. He should know better. And with the way that Big U, Loose Cannon, Brick Baby, their situation caught up with the blackmail, the extortion. We have still frames going up online, and it's like this. They just passed a law that if you use social media in any type of way in furtherance of a crime, that it's an enhancement on a sentence, a vast enhancement. That matched with a gang enhancement, It's kind of tricky right there, with a YouTube career that flourishes, because he does his thing on here and he's got the numbers. People definitely tuning in, checking out what he's got to say. He's got a unique outlook. And, I'm really just surprised that he would go out there and say that, because making content is one thing, but then when you're saying things like that, it's giving like Jay Prince vibes with when NBA YoungBoy house was broken into in Houston. It doesn't sit well. Also, we have to look at it from this angle. What's gonna come from this? Me personally, and so I done been through that lifestyle, and I've seen through the facade of the streets and how at times it's the streets pick and choose what and who they celebrate. I hope that Gucci, in that situation, he did what he's supposed to do. He gave it up. You know what I mean? When your life's in danger, we already know how they're giving it out in the West Coast. What happened with PNB Rock? Things can turn ugly fast. You know what I'm saying? Things can get ugly fast. And I feel like Gucci did what he did. You know what I'm saying? If he gave up the wedding ring, the watch, whatever that is, you know, as long as he was all right and he preserved self, because all those things is material. Life, you can't buy that back. How I see this is that ring is a costly piece of jewelry. That watch is a costly piece of jewelry. And with the amount and with the amount tied to those items, this makes this a major case that they're putting it out there. Law enforcement always keeps a close eye on celebrities. And just like in the Big U and Loose Cannon case, they have clips from No Jumper, clips from other sources, that of them basically confessing, basically laying things out, how this happened, that happened. And now you have Sadie Nash and what they are what they are pushing the narrative of the Rolling 60s thing out there is, extortion, robbery, and all of this. It kind of seems like Sadie Nash is using his platform in furtherance of the game. He's putting himself out there as an open channel that he can negotiate something, and just don't think that's smart. Me personally, Gucci Mane, there's all the talk, clone this and clone that. Gucci's just living the life of somebody who feel like they've spent too much of their life in the penitentiary, and he's taking the time to enjoy things. He's having his new family, and people talk, they create these narratives, this and that, but I hope, bro, is at a maturity level that he can just be glad for his safety, and not fall into these traps. This is like equivalent to niggas tricking you off the streets or out of your position. You know what I'm saying? Because this incident, I guarantee you, it has the attention of law enforcement. And with all their surveillance tactics and this and that, you can expect they're gonna be watching for retaliatory actions and this and that. So that's my take on things. Those opinions that they mine and mine alone. I'm just sharing with y'all. I'm trying to start off my little YouTube journey. If you guys could like, subscribe, maybe share this video, tap in, leave a comment if y'all think I'm wrong or if I'm right. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like Sadie Nash, I watch his content. I've been taking it in for a while, and with how savvy he is when it comes to these type of matters, and with him already knowing that federal authorities pay attention to his platform with what was going on when he was attending the YSL trial, and I believe it was the O Block 6 trial or whatever. I think he should know better than this. But that's all I got. Like I said, man, like, comment, subscribe. You go in there and say, the hell with me, whatever, you know what I mean? Tell me I'm wrong, stupid. It's just have a conversation, give me a little interactions, you know what I'm saying? And that's all I got for you. Y'all be safe out there, man. Y'all got to be smarter, man, and understand. Don't fall into all of this. Yeah, from the cultural perspective, that was some real Memphis stuff. And we'll see what happens from here, man. I'm tuned in.